Meeting to order for Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. I'd like to take a minute or opportunity to appoint Commissioner Ford to our committee today. Okay? All right, thank you. Any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, and can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 17th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
And I'll second.
All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. All right, item number 2, contract award.
Do you want to do the deferral before we start on the rest of the stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can do that.
All right, I'll make a motion that we defer item 7 until the next meeting, because it's not, we'll be able to speak with the representative from Synovus during June. So I'll make a motion we defer till June on that item.
Second, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Can I also get a motion to excuse Commissioner Sabby from today's meeting?
I'll make a motion to excuse Commissioner Sabby.
All in favor? Motion
Right,
carries
great.
3-0.
Okay, housekeeping's done.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Cook, keep me in order. Contract award pump stations 2001, 2, 33, and 34. Electrical installation, Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. A couple of meetings ago, we brought forth a litany of purchase items for electrical equipment to be installed, and we told you at that time we were going to do these projects a little bit differently, where we were essentially going to be our own general contractor and do smaller contracts for the installation. This is the electrical installation contract for those 4 pump stations. For the materials we will provide, the only materials provided by the contractor in this is the conduit and conductors and fittings required to extend the service between the equipment. We got 3 quotes from local electrical contractors, with the low quote being from Tech Electric from up in Darien. They are the low quote on all 4 pump stations for a total combined amount of $81,366 for installation. They have never done work directly for us as a contractor. However, they have been on private development contracts that we have been involved with for pump station installation, so we are familiar with their work.
And satisfied with it.
And satisfied with their work,
Okay,
yes.
fine. All right, are you ready?
I get a motion?
All right, I'll move the Finance Committee recommend awarding the contract to Tech Electric LLC for electrical installations at pump stations 2001, 2002, 2033, and 2034 in the amount of $81,366.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? 3-0. Contract award Highway 17 water main casings. Mr. Burrows, please.
Sorry, my apologies. I don't have a GIS man here for this meeting. All right, so what we're doing in this requested contract award is to install water main casings at 2 locations on Highway 17, one on Highway 17 North and one on Highway 17 South. The first one will be here at Harry Driggers and Highway 17. You can see here our blue water lines turn right here at the end of Harry Driggers. There's a request from a customer that is willing to pay for service on a site across Harry Driggers and across Highway 17 from Harry Driggers. At this time, she would have to put in a casing to do this work. However, our request is to install a much larger casing necessary so that at a later date we can bring a larger water main extension so that we can run water to the east side of Highway 17. So this will be a 16-inch casing installation, and then we can bring the water service that is necessary for her request inside that casing, and then upsize that later as necessary. It will require GDOT permitting to go along Highway 17. And the exact same thing down here on Highway 17 South at the Southport area, which I'll get there in a second. Here we go. Where are we at? We are right here. So the location is right here on Highway 17 for a proposed warehouse development here. But as you can see currently, where am I at? There we are. The warehouse development's right here. You can see currently this system is single fed to the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center here. So what this will do allow us to, again, run their service inside the casing, and at a later date increase the size of the pipe under Highway 17 to loop the system at Highway 17 South at the exit 29 area. So the request is to award a contract to D&C Directional drilling for $71,200 to install these 2 16-inch casings for transversing Highway 17 in 2 locations.
Get a motion?
I'll move the Finance Committee recommend awarding a contract to D&C Directional Boring LLC for the installation of 2 casings for water main installations in the amount of $71,200.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? 3-0. Academy Creek fence replacement. Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. If you've been by the Academy Creek plant on 341, you have noticed that our fence is highly rusted and leaning in several locations. So we got quotes to replace the fence along 341 and along T Street. The existing chain link fence, we're request to replace it with a vinyl coated chain link. The galvanized fencing without the coating on it does not stand up well at a wastewater environment. So we got 3 quotes from local fencing contractors. The low quote was from Coastal Fencing at $29,000. This will be funded out of the Academy Creek operations budget, and it has been confirmed that this work can be completed prior to the end of the fiscal year, so it will be in this fiscal year's expenses.
Get a motion?
I'll move the Finance Committee recommend awarding a contract to Coastal Fencing for the replacement of the fencing at Academy Creek WPCF in the amount of $29,000.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? 3-0. 1,000 here. All right, change order number 1, pump stations 3101, 4001, 4002. Engineering service, Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. We went into contract with Kimley Horn in March of '22 to design improvements to 3 pump stations. We put those original improvements out for bid and got bids back in December of that year. And those bids came in substantially over budget for the rehab work, and the commission voted to reject those bids at the December 2022 meeting. Staff requested Kimley Horn to reduce the scope of the project to hopefully bring it back closer to the budget and also theoretically increase the bidding pool. We were unsuccessful in increasing the bidding pool, but we were successful in reducing the cost of the project to be closer to budget. It's still over budget, but much closer than what it was. Our engineer, Kimley Horn, has requested a change order in the amount of $20,000 to their original contract of $160,000 for the redesign of the work to de-scope the items that did not need to be included to get it to the lower price, and for the rebidding efforts. There is in the attachment on page 2 a breakdown of the requested improvements. It's $1,815 for project management, $13,617.50 for the redesign, and $4,567.50 for the rebidding services they provided. This was reviewed by the Facilities Committee, and this was requested by them, and staff is in support of this change order for these engineering services, since they had to do additional work than was not originally included in the contract.
I'll move the Finance Committee recommend approving change order number 1 to the engineering services contract with Kimley Horn for pump stations 3101, 4001, and 4002 rehab project in the amount of $20,000.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? 3-0. Item 6, fiscal year 2025 City Works Enterprise License Agreement Renewal. Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. CityWorks is the work order and asset management system that we use for all of our work orders, and also to record cost information on asset costs throughout the year. We also utilize it for our storeroom function for inventory and issuance of inventory to different work orders. We enter into what's known as an enterprise license agreement every year with Azteca Systems, who owns the CityWorks software, for the ongoing subscription and maintenance of the program. That includes the add-on for storeroom, the CCTV add-on, and required updates that come with that. This is an annual contract that is an increase this year of $1,869.84, or exactly 4% from the previous year. The ELA for this year is $48,615.84. That is paid for through multiple operational budgets based off the number of CityWorks users per that budget. So this does not show up in any one specific location in the budget. It's under software licensing for about 6 different operational groups.
All right.
And there's a breakdown there to see all the stuff that comes attached to that. we have been seeing steady increases in this contract amount over year. However, the cost to change softwares would drastically exceed the increase in the contract amount each year.
I think in software, 4% is probably standard across the board.
It appears to be a common number we're seeing.
Yeah, it is very much so in the industry. There's no question about that. So, I have a couple of questions on the mobile native apps.
Mhm.
Are those restricted, or is just a license to use as many as we need?
We can load as many of them that, we have our own GIS system, and so it points to our GIS servers. And so it's
Okay.
all the maps that we have on our GIS servers.
Okay, so
We don't get
okay.
access to external GIS maps. This is just to point towards our GIS services.
Right, yeah, and so everything is directed that way, so
Yes.
that avoids having to buy licenses for all the different devices.
That
Okay.
is correct, yes, sir.
Okay, that's a good way to handle it. And then the, went out of my head, whatever. Oh, I mean, it's utilized by just about all the different departments.
Every operational division, so all four of our main operating groups, water distribution, water production, systems pumping and maintenance, wastewater treatment use it. Obviously, Office of the Director uses it because that's where the asset management functions are held, and purchasing uses it for inventory situations. And then PNC uses it. That's how they track, say, clean-out inspections for a new home. Once the clean-out inspection is closed out because it's been approved, that's when they start getting sewer bills. So it's all tied together.
And there are some alternatives, but it would be a massive project to try
You've
to
really
come up.
got about 3 major players in
Right.
the asset management software industry right now for water utilities. CityWorks is,
They might have
probably
been
got the
around the
larger-
longest, I think, too.
Maximo's probably been around a little bit longer, but
Maybe,
it hasn't
but they're
been
pretty, yeah.
much longer than CityWorks.
And this is also generating work orders, is that correct?
Generates work orders automatically if set up to do that. You can set it up to recur every month, or it can be based off of a specific time frame since the last work order was closed out. So if I do a work order and I know in 3 months I've got to have this done, so I close it out today, then on August the 15th, it'll generate me a new work order.
What goes along with your favorite word, proactive?
Yes.
All right,
And
okay.
then I can go in there and see how far behind they are on their proactive maintenance work
Gotcha.
orders.
So,
Or ahead.
Or ahead.
or ahead, there you go, that's it. I actually had a demo from a staff member here about this, and I would encourage any of the commissioners, if you want to go and see it, they're really, they know how to work it. And it does, it's amazing what the amount of information it holds.
And the other thing I will say, that I mentioned in here about FEMA paperwork, we've got it set up now where we have all of the FEMA rates in there for all of our equipment, and we also have FEMA rates in there for personnel and everything like that. So in the event we have a storm, we tag everything to Hurricane Andrew, and we can generate a work order at the end of the week that says, here's all of our costs. So it significantly reduces the amount of time it takes us to fill out all that FEMA paperwork.
So the software basically pays for itself.
If we get a reimbursement for a significant amount of money, yes, sir, it significantly pays for itself.
Ready for your motion?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll move the Finance Committee recommend approving the renewal of fiscal contract 2025 CityWorks Enterprise License Agreement with Aztec of Systems LLC in the amount of $48,615.84.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Any more discussion? Do we have asset tags? Is this part of, do we asset tag with the software and track any of our assets?
Yes.
Or we don't?
Well, it's all CityWorks works off of geolocation, so it's all based off our GIS system. So every asset has a geolocation in GIS, which is tagged to in the CityWorks system. And then those that say have multiple assets, say a pump station, anything over $5,000 is considered a separate asset. So you'll click on the pump station, and then you have a list of assets at that one location.
So I've actually meant to say asset tracking.
For vehicle movement, yeah.
Is that part
We
of the
have that through
software?
Verizon, not through CityWorks. But we do our fleet inspections through CityWorks, so they get reminders once a week they're supposed to inspect their vehicles.
All right. All right. All in favor? 8-0. Thank you. Ms. Wilson.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. We have before us the financial statements as of April the 30th, 2024. So we have completed 10 months of this fiscal year and already thinking of wrapping up the things that we need to do to proceed for year end. First, we have our balance sheet, cash and cash balances, cash equivalents a little over 4 million, like almost 4.1. Accounts receivable, 1.772. We have prepaid expenses, 822,000. That has went up since the March due to insurance. All of that property and liability goes into prepaids, and we expense it out on a monthly basis. So that explains the increase in that number. We have fixed assets. Our fixed assets have increased. We're at 161,772,366, and we will. There'll be a little more about that on the project report. Our total assets, almost 276 million. We're down to interest payable, 443,000. We are building that up for our principal and interest payment. So this is the interest portion to our bonds. We have two bonds, the 2017 and the 2021 series. Both have an interest payment on June 1st. So that will significantly go down in June. Page 2. Total liabilities, 82, almost 83 million. So assets are more than 3 times liabilities, so that's a good thing. Any questions on the balance sheet? Page 3. We have our summary revenue. At the top left, we have our percentages that are used to calculate the monthly budget portion. 82.79 on sewer, 82.24 on water, debt is 83.84, and administrative fees is 83.90. Interest income, we are over the projected budget by 1.9 million, and we're gaining back some of that we've lost in prior years, so very happy about that. Operating revenues, over the projected budget by 3,597,000. Our net operating revenue is 1.8. Any questions on our summary revenue?
On the sewer revenues there?
Yes.
I see that, like, on the projected, the budget projected at 12,481,000, and we're at 12,591,000. We're really very close. The numbers are very, very close, right along the budget there. They've done really well.
Mr. Burrows does an excellent job on those projections.
The whole team.
There's a lot of spreadsheets involved.
Okay, on to our expenses, page 4. And again, that gives a lot of the same information, just displayed in a different format as the summary. Our operating expenses are over budget, 1,793,370. Please note that a little over $1 million of that is purchase orders, and not all of those will process on this fiscal year. A lot of them are contracts and stuff that will shift forward when we have completed. They'll move into the upcoming year. And I think they are, at this point, kind of monitoring what new purchases they make from this point through June 30th.
Like a somewhat of a freeze or something, or
We've requested there be some cutback, if possible, for the last couple months to get us closer to the original budget amount.
And we want these purchase orders to close out by June 30th, so
Yeah.
a lot of things still have a little bit of a lead time, so.
I will point out the Office of the Director is over budget because we had one, the USGS contract they didn't invoice me last year, so it fit this year's budget. So that was $67,200, so I'm technically $500 under budget. Dave is not going to beat me.
Net operating revenue again at 1.8. Any questions on expenses? On to page 5. Supplemental schedule of cash balances. And just a few notes again, the breakout of the cash and cash equivalents. That's the first item on the balance sheet. This is the breakout that makes up that number. We like it when it's higher. We don't like to see it go below 2 million because some weeks we have a huge disbursement amount. And of course, there's our cash and investments listed. Page 6, our total of our cash and cash equivalents, breakout for cash, the bond, elective reserves, the bond trustees. That's at 8.2, and we have had another draw since then. So we're at $81,747,461. We've notated there 52 million, 52.7 is investments. Now, if you flip to page 7, that is the investment portfolio. Of that 52 million, a little over 7 is cash and cash equivalents. 45.7 is in securities. If you have any questions about that, we'll defer those to Mr. Owens. Okay, on to page 8. We have our project cost summary, and notice there is a little bit different layout here. We have added an approved funding column. We have always run this with whatever the projected budget was with the initial introduction of that project. We've not ever changed that to include change orders. So this is a work in progress, so now we're trying to give a more applicable view of what our cost committed funds are. So like project 2102, so R&R, it was originally at $1,850,000. Now with the change orders and a different scope, it's up to almost 5.4, so that column accurately reflects that. And we'll update that each month as we do these change orders. The expenditures that are in the construction in progress account, $23,457,354 $341.37. If you'll notice at the bottom, we have the meter replacement project has been wrapped up, completed. It has been capitalized and moved to the fixed asset register, hence the increase on the balance sheet. So that project totaled $15,854,100.65.
How many meters do we retaining still for replacements or failures? How many meters are we keeping a certain amount of extra meters around? Yes.
Yes, sir, we do have some in inventory. We replaced all, as Mr. Rose said, there are 2,000 plus meters in the system. And then we had ordered quantities in the water meters that were in excess of what our needs were. So we were able to return to the supplier. Some of those we kept in inventory, knowing that there are long lead items on those, and we could consider expensive.
Right. Yep. So and some of the regular meters for the homes, we do have some.
Always have quite a few of those meters
Yeah.
because you will have contractors that'll call for 50 meters at one time.
Right, yeah. And I know that when we bought them, they were considerably less expensive than they are now. So that was yeah. Thank you.
The closeout documents for this was a GFA project.
Mhm.
So the closeout documents for this project were sent to GFA on April the 30th.
Oh, okay.
So they are processing on their end.
Start paying the principal back in the next couple of months.
Yes.
Okay, well,
So principal and interest for the projects are the top item on your project report, the CW and DW. We've only paid a total of, through ongoing for all fees, including origination, that type, of $622,000. So that will be where we'll see those payments as they come in.
right,
And we're paying that back out of the R&R funding.
right, yeah.
Page 9, again, just gives you a breakout on the expenditures and where we are with available funding for the different reserves. At the bottom, we have highlighted the capital improvement fees for each district. To date, we have received over $2.6 million in capital tap fees, water and sewer tap fees for new construction. Fiscal year 22, we topped out on June 30th at $2.8 million. Fiscal year 23, we were at $2.3 million. So we've kind of split that right now at 10 months in. Any questions on the project report or any of the financial statements?
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Any more business?
No, sir, not at this time.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn,
All in favor?
and we are adjourned.
Read nothing.
Listen,
Yes, sir.
you're on a fast meeting there.
I think the facilities guys kind of laid the groundwork.
Yeah, 2/3 of the meeting's already been discussed.
Well, I kind of feel like I'm missing something.